Street Racers is in the City of Light, the place where even the concept of electric racing was born. 6 years later, and we're at the halfway point of Season 3 of the Formula E Championship, and we're back in the French capital for the Qatar Airways Paris e-Prix. So who better to take us around the city than a local sporting hero? Oh, here we go. This is the vehicle, is it?
Exactly. And look, that's how to open it. Like, it's open.
What? Brilliant. So here we are, we're in your hometown.
Yeah, that's a famous place of Paris because you got one of the best views on the Eiffel Tower, which you can see on the left.
You've got quite a history already at 27. How do you think you've changed as a driver?
I did nearly everything before coming to Formula One. I don't know if you follow my Formula One career, but people used to say that I was the unluckiest driver ever.
Yeah,
Every time I was running 4th or 5th, I had an engine failure or a tire exploding in the middle of the straight. I had all kind of things happening.
That are out of your control as well.
Exactly.
So annoying.
But now I'm in Formula E in a very strong team. Coming to every race we know we can win, or at least do a podium. And I'm such in a happier window in my life, as in general, and I think this is helping me a lot now. Oh, so here we're in Port Maillot. A lot of concerts being held in here, and that's kind of the entrance of Paris.
Whoa, and Vergne's going to get him this time. He's got the overlap. He's got the overlap. He's going to force the issue. Piquet's still there. Vergne Paris through. He's going to go Heidfeld.
What the is wrong with him?
At the time, were you annoyed with Nelson?
Yeah, I was really annoyed. Of course, it's never nice to be pushed in the wall. Bottom line is that the day after, on Sunday, everybody was partying on the beach or on the yacht, or I don't know, and I was with my team of engineers working already in the simulator for Paris. We lose together, but we work also very hard to win together, and hopefully the good weather we all expect in the team will come very soon. We're going to go down les Champs-Élysées. We will arrive to a famous place that is called La Place de la Concorde. By the way, that's the crazy roundabout.
Oh yeah.
Around the Arc de Triomphe.
How many lanes are there on this roundabout?
There are no lanes.
It's just anywhere.
Exactly, you go wherever you can. But somehow I've never seen any crash. When everybody asks you, okay, last year you finished second in a car that wasn't the best, what do you expect in Paris? Well, obviously you expect to win. I am in the best team I've ever been in my life.
Yeah, and I can tell you're so much happier now.
Yeah, and everything is fantastic. You know, we got all the ingredients in the team to be very successful.
Well, thank you so much for giving me a tour, and it's been a fascinating insight into your mind, and I'm just so pleased that you're in such a good place right now.
Right now I have a clear mind, and a clear mind of wanting to win. So
yeah, good.
And that's what makes me happy also, to have find back this drive inside of me to be able to perform at my best level.
Now, we touched on it there, but let's look again at the major talking point of last week's race in Monaco.
Mrs. Nelson, Piquet battling for position. Whoa, and Vergne's going to get him this time. He's got the overlap. He's got the overlap. He's going to force the issue. Piquet's still there. Vergne Paris through. He's going to go Heidfeld.
It was a racing incident, he was pushing really hard. I wasn't going to give up my position. We slid and then the wheels banged and my steering wheel kind of got away from my hand, and that was it, I was lucky to get away from the accident. I just got lucky and I lost the steering wheel at that point because the wheels were kind of going everywhere. Nothing I could have done differently.
Yeah, I was hungry, of course. When you're fighting for a win or at least for a very strong position finish, that you're much quicker than the guy in front of you, and that, helps you to go in the wall. It's not a very nice feeling, obviously, but at the end of the day, it's racing.
There is no overtaking basically out there, other than you have to be massively quicker. And what Jeff is actually trying is a great move. He's trying to brake very late, and at some point, if he wants to pass him, he needs to come back in front of him. But obviously, Nelson knows that, and he brakes later. This is a bit of a race incident. On one side, Jeff is trying to overtake where it's nearly impossible to overtake, but there is no other places, and Nelson, he knows that, so he's trying to not leave him any room.
To be honest, it was Nelson's fault, but Jeff should not have going to try to go on the outside of that corner. I did that move on Sebastian season 1. Basically, there's no space. And Nelson, I think, took a long time to make sure that he was going to stay there and then cause a crash. So he should have made it very clear that, or squeezed Jeb right from the beginning.
Obviously, he was really angry after the race, but everybody would have been, even I would have been in that position, just emotions through the race. He's a passionate, a really aggressive driver, which I respect, but in Monaco, you know, it's impossible to overtake. He just had to wait for the pit stops.
I will never change this way, never in life. I don't regret it at all. I don't think it was my fault, but you know, there is no point anymore in putting the blame on whoever it's behind. We cannot do anything about it, so you know, it's like this.
Despite that crash, Jean Eric Vergne has managed to enjoy some podium finishes this season, although a win still eludes him. Let's remind ourselves of how the first 5 rounds have played out.
Consistency is key in any championship race, so let's have a look back at how the top 5 in the standings have done this season. First up in Hong Kong, Lucas de Grassi started off with a nightmare, breaking his front wing, but he managed to come back through the order. Nelson Piquet was out of the race and Sam Bird had a problem in the pit stops, so it was a victory for Sebastian Buemi. Next up was Marrakesh, a commanding performance from Sebastian Buemi, overtaking Felix Rosenqvist to win the race. Sam Bird did well and finished in second. It was another strong performance for Lucas de Grassi, but it was Buemi on the top step once again. Next up, Buenos Aires in Argentina. In the early stages, Jean Eric Vergne held the lead. Sebastian Buemi got past de Grassi, Nico Prost had a solid run, but it was Sebastian Buemi once more who took the lead away from Vergne and took another victory. Next up, Mexico City, a crazy race which saw Lucas de Grassi lose his rear wing in the early stages, pit, come out behind the safety car and still win the race. Sebastian Buemi sent spinning after a horrible race. Jean Eric Vergne did well to finish on the podium and Sam Bird made a beautiful move, but it was victory for de Grassi. And finally, last week was Monaco. Sebastian Buemi led from start to finish. Sam Bird hit the wall, Jean Eric Vergne hit the wall thanks to assistance from Nelson Piquet, but it was victory for Buemi just ahead of Lucas de Grassi.
So here's Nikki to sum up how things stand.
From the French Riviera to this stunning setting here on the Parisian streets at Les Invalides, Sebastian Buemi is fresh from his win at the Monaco e-Prix, the 4th win of his season. But just 15 points behind him is Lucas de Grassi. Now, he came second in the race last weekend, but he won here at the Paris e-Prix. So, will we see a home win for the French Renault Edams team, or will Lucas de Grassi prevail?
So, no doubting the top 2. And back in Monaco, they were the special guests of FI's chief exec for a frank chat about the present and future of the sport.
Same question for both of you. Apart from yourself, who's the best driver in Formula E?
It's a complex question because maybe there is a fast driver, maybe there is a more consistent one. It's difficult for me to choose one. I think what is important to say is that this season, you cannot name any of the 20 drivers which hasn't been successful in other series.
And you, Seb, apart from yourself?
It's hard to say. I mean, I've been impressed by Felix Rosenqvist. He was not only quick on the track, but also in the simulators. You clearly need to have consistency if you want to gather a lot of points. Question, are we finally going to have a race in Switzerland and in Brazil in the future?
Yes, we are. I don't know exactly when, but I think Brazil, I just got an email from Brazil right now, so looking quite good for season 4.
What changes can we expect for season 4 and 5 or the future of Formula E to make the weekend with more action, more entertainment, more exciting for the fans and for us?
We are in a key moment. Formula E has had an incredible growth, but now we're 2.5 years in and we need to keep innovating. Otherwise people will maybe get bored. Obviously the big change is coming on season 5 with the new car.
Talking about it, do you like the new design? How is it going to look?
Yeah.
I cannot say much about the new design. Of course, it's going to look incredibly awesome. I think it's not totally decided, but you know, we're kind of heading to the final new design, which is going to be a shock.
And we keep the race format. It's going to change. Pit stop still, no pit stop anymore.
I think that's another of the things we need to really think about. What do we do? Because we need a pit stop to make the thing exciting, but we don't have 2 cars anymore.
Yes.
But now with 1 car, what are we going to do? We'll do something, and it's something that we need to figure out. I don't know, we're working on different ideas.
So it looks as though there's going to be a big shake-up in season 5. But right now, It's all about round 6 of season 3 and time to inspect the Paris track. In qualifying, there were mixed fortunes for the top 2. Lucas di Grassi unable to get the best of his Abschäffler, finishing 13th, while Sebastian Buemi set the fastest lap. The Swiss would repeat that in Super Pole to start at the front of the grid for the 2nd race in a row. He edged out Jean Eric Vergne, who was 2nd quickest in qualifying and Super Pole, while his Techeetah teammate Esteban Gutierrez enjoyed his strongest qualifying to date, finishing 2 places behind. Confirmation then of the starting places on the grid, with DS Virgin's Jose Maria Lopez and Nick Heidfeld of Mahindra making up the top 5. So that's the placings for the main event, but before that the drivers had another big race to contest. Just outside Paris, Jean Eric Vergne and Nelson Piquet Jr. have put rivalries aside to invite a few familiar faces to battle it out on Jev's family-owned go-karting track. The event is to raise money for Billy Monger, a 17-year-old British Formula 4 driver who tragically lost his legs in a racing accident earlier this year. Tell me a bit about this event and why you decided to put it on.
Well, basically, this can happen to any of us, so we would like to help even more, and it's our turn now to do a big favor all together, and the whole community already managed to help Billy a lot and funding quite a lot of money.
Obviously, the weather hasn't quite played ball today. How tricky is it going to be out there?
It's going to be really tricky, really fun, but you know, since we're racing for Billy, even if it will be storming, snowing, we will still be racing. And actually I remember early on the day you told me you were going to race, to drive with us. So now you know all your TV audience is expecting you to drive. So we're going to seal you up with a wet suit, you're not going to get wet.
Okay guys, I'll do it.
You do it?
I'll do it for Billy.
Alright,
yes,
fantastic.
I will do
He's
it.
going to be happy, that's good. So the rules are like the fans are going to qualify for our teams.
Yep.
And then we have an endurance race, not too long, but that we can share the go-kart with the fans and have a nice race.
So I'm not quite sure how I've ended up in this situation. So here I am, geared up, in the rain, racing against professional drivers. What on earth can possibly go wrong? Oh my god, I'm a bit bedraggled as you can see, but it was so fun. I think at one point I actually overtook Felix Rosenqvist, so career highlight right there. Yeah, watch out lads. So guys, you did it, everyone's turned out, the rain seemed to go away, you must be so happy.
Yeah, exactly, it was a fantastic event. You know, we didn't expect to see so many people. It was so nice to get Billy actually on FaceTime. He could see all of us, you know, cheering for him. And it was an amazing event.
I mean, even with the rain, with the cold weather and night, we have to be on track tomorrow. It's midnight and we're still over here. We're still doing everything we can and having fun and happy.
I love it, and it's good to see you two are okay.
Yeah, exactly. You know, we're friends on the outside. We race hard on the track, and he always been like this, and he always will be.
Let's have a group up, guys. Well done. Well done. Great effort. Great effort. Woo! Brilliant. A fantastic cause uniting the drivers there. But join us after the break when rivalries will be reignited for round 6 of the championship. This week's Street Racers is back in the French capital for the Qatar Airways Paris e-Prix. And while we may be in familiar surroundings, the paddocks boast some new faces in the driving seat.
After last year winning the Formula 3.5, I was looking for a new chapter for me, and I was looking to race in a World Championship. Formula E is that, and actually the team contacted me, and I started doing the shakedown in Mexico. And yeah, a few weeks later, here I am doing my first race.
First time driving the car this weekend, so excited. Had no testing or racing this year, so kind of getting thrown in the deep end a little bit, but you know, we're kind of used to that now.
French pairing for Paris, it's great, so I hope we have a lot of support from the grandstands.
I got to watch all the race in Monaco, so kind of, again, gets me up to speed a bit more, but yeah, I can't wait now. Only a few hours to wait for the shakedown, and then everything starts tomorrow.
I have a bit of catch-up to do, but I prepared myself as much as I could, and let's see how it goes.
It's a very tricky track, quite bumpy, some new tarmac, some old tarmac. But yeah, I like it. I was quite quick here last year, so hopefully can replicate that speed again.
I mean, everybody raced here last year, so they know the track, but I have this few laps to see where it goes. Obviously I did simulator, so I know what to expect, but yeah, looking forward to it.
These are all quite different because they're street circuits. The cars are quite tricky to drive in terms of the way the systems work, but end of the day, you know, we like driving cars as hard as possible, as they can go, as quick as possible. So yeah, it's all fun. Everybody would be happy if I'm in the points. That's my goal, but also to take as much experience as I can and you know, put a full Formula E weekend under my belt. It's really important. The aim is to try and be in Formula E for, you know, many seasons ahead. It'd be nice, but yeah, very limited on seats here. So yeah, I just want to do a good job this weekend, and we see how it goes.
So while two new faces get familiar with their drives, it seems a timely moment to look again at what makes FE so unique: the battery.
Formula E is built around batteries. They literally make the cars go faster and for longer. So the better the battery, the better the performance of the car that's using it. We're here with the Renault EDAMS team to try and understand a little bit more about how you can improve on an already pretty good thing. So this battery was really pushing the boundaries of the technology when it was designed for Season 1 of Formula E. But for Season 5, we've got something brand new coming, haven't we?
We will double the energy for similar weight and volume. We will have only a single car for the whole races, still around 45 minutes. And as well, we'll increase the power level from 170 kilowatt at race condition to 200 kilowatts. So the car will be much faster with a single battery for the race. So it's a major step.
But better can mean a whole lot of different things. So there's compromises involved and lots of different trade-offs when you're designing one of these things. Theo, tell us about the composition of the cells inside these batteries and why they're so important.
So we're using lithium-ion cells from Exalt. They are called NMC, so nickel, cobalt and manganese.
So all of these elements bring different things then to the composition of the cell and its properties. It must be a trade-off.
There are trade-offs between power and energy, and with Formula E we are right in the middle, where you want a powerful car but still able to have a reasonable range.
And so what about the wider world? What about outside of Formula E? Where do you think development is going?
Everybody wants more range, more power, and the cell suppliers are working on developing manufacturing technique and new chemistry to improve that. Within the past 10 years we doubled the range of the vehicle, and I think the same is about to come in the next 10-15 years, no doubt.
So it's the crucial chemistry of batteries which is the biggest area of development, and perhaps the single biggest factor helping to drive us forward, both here at Formula E and also out there on the roads.
Well, it's almost crunch time. Let's just hope Jeb's battery is all in order. But before the race starts, time now for a moment of reflection.
I don't think I was inspired by anyone to take up racing. I grew up on a racing track, go-kart track, my parents won. So actually, from the day I was born, my baby seat was a karting seat. So I think, you know, my line was already drawn. I always knew that's what I wanted to do. I had a mentor. He was my godfather, and he's called Renaud Derlot. He was an ex-racing driver, and he's got a team in LMP2. And he always told my family, the day Jev comes in single-seater, I will take care of him. And that's what he did. And so the day I arrived in single-seater, which was in 2007, I believe, yeah, 2007, he was there until I arrived in F1. So he was there nearly at every races, and he helped me a lot. I never thought I was going to make it. I was working hard in karting, but also working hard at school, and my parents was always, you know, keep working at school, otherwise we stop karting. As the other one paying, you can't really do anything, so I had to do both. And the day I got Red Bull is the day where I told my parents, okay, I stop school, I go live somewhere else, and I want to make this my career, and I want to give it a real chance and invest myself 100%. I think it's hard to love something in particular when you're a racing driver. It's the whole package. Obviously, the adrenaline you got at the start is something quite incredible that only racing driver can feel. It's the whole preparation, the whole career, the whole plans you always have to make. I think it's a whole thing, and it's very difficult to say there is this part in particular that makes me love being a racing driver. Obviously, there are little things, you know, like winning races, championship, making pole positions. It's what makes you love being a racing driver, because there is so much hard work behind. There is a real teamwork also behind that people may not think about it sometimes. Yeah, those very short moments that are making me love my job.
So Jev, how are you feeling ahead of the race? Feeling charged and ready to go?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, it's been a long time coming, this race, and finally, you know, we're here on the front row. No cars in front of me, so should be a good race. I'm going to do everything to make a good one.
Okay, well, I won't jinx it. I won't say any more. I'm going to leave you to get in your zone now. But best of luck, okay?
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Take care. Take care. So it's Jev on the front row alongside defending champion Sebastian Buemi. Let's see how this one plays out.
All 5 lights are on, and we go green in Paris, and it's a pretty good start from Jean Eric Vergne on the run down towards the first corner. Can he get the inside line? No. Buemi comes across and covers it well. On the outside comes Nick Heidfeld. Here goes Vergne around the outside. No, doesn't quite manage to pull it off. Still in 3rd place, and there's contact at the back with Daniel Abt and Oliver Turvey. Looks as though De Grassi might have lost a few places, but it is Sebastian Buemi who holds the lead. Jean Eric Vergne in 2nd place. Jose Maria Lopez is in 3rd. 4th is Heidfeld. 5th. And down 1 position is Esteban Gutierrez, the 2 Faraday Future Dragon cars going side by side. D'Ambrosio is about to go around the outside of Conway. That's going to get very, very close. Oh, goodness me, that's Gutierrez going defensive from Felix Rosenqvist, and Rosenqvist goes through. So that's Gutierrez dropping down a position. There's Antonio Felix da Costa. Bold move going up the inside of Lucas de Grassi and getting past. So de Grassi down to 14th position. Antonio Felix da Costa close enough for a move. Da Costa covers the inside line. Oh, he's going for around the outside. That's never going to work. They're both in the wall. Da Costa off. De Grassi off. And that is a disaster for the championship contender. Here's a look at the replay, Mark.
Yeah, he's going the long way around, which is always going to be a tough call. Then he's going into a right-hander. He's actually made the move, but at the same time, he hasn't quite given up the fact that Da Costa was letting him get away with it. And as we've clearly seen, Da Costa didn't want it to happen.
Here comes De Grassi to go past Nico Prost. De Grassi uses his fan boost to go past Nico Prost down into the first corner. De Grassi, he's up into 8th position. Now here comes Robin Frenks attacking Esteban Gutierrez. Gutierrez didn't see that one coming, and Frenks gets the inside line and makes the move. Is De Grassi going to try and take advantage of that? That's Robin Frenks up into 6th position for the Andretti team. His teammate Da Costa out of the race, and there is the confirmation. Lucas de Grassi and Adam Carroll have both been given a drive-through penalty for being under the minimum pit stop time. Oh, and there's Prost going past Gutierrez. So Nico Prost up the inside at Place Vauban. And off! It's Jean Eric Vergne. It's Jean Eric Vergne from 2nd place. Is in the wall. Well, here in the commentary box, I felt a huge thud. Wondered what on earth was that. And it is Jean Eric Vergne, the Parisian, out of the Paris e-Prix.
It's virtually on our doorstep as he makes this corner, hits the right side wall hard.
There's the look up the inside, late on the brakes from Mitch Evans. Just about gets it stopped. That's him past Stefan Sarazan. Oh, De Grassi's in the wall. Doesn't really affect anything because it means that he won't be able definitely now to set the fastest lap. Whoa, big lock up on the right front. Wow. Straight to the scene of the accident. There's the checkered flag. It's victory in Paris for Sebastian Buemi, and he extends his championship lead.
Yes! To be honest, Jev was putting me under big pressure at the start, and I had to push very hard to make sure I could stay in front, and then really in the second car, I had to push so much, and then he made a mistake. So clearly that gave me a little bit of clean air, but then quickly after there was a safety car, and I had to restart from 0.
So confirmation then of Jose Maria Lopez and Nick Heidfeld joining Sebastian Buemi in making up the top 3. Felix Rosenqvist in 4th, ensuring another big points day for Mahindra. The win for Buemi stretches his lead to 43 points, with his Renault Edams team also well clear in the Constructors' Championship. Sebastian Buemi, who dominates 5 wins from 6. There's just no stopping him. We'll see you next time.